Let's talk about chapter 268 and the downfall of the king. This chapter is called The Conclusion, and it opens up with Sukuna talking to Megumi's soul. Sukuna says, "How do you intend to keep on living with that disgrace? You had your body stolen by me, you murdered your own sister, you turned away the hands reaching out to you. Oh right, that brat you saved even ended up slaughtering thousands." In Sukuna's final moments, he's trying to sink Megumi's soul down deep. Even though the effects of Yuji's black flashes and his soul dismantles and all the Jacob's ladders has revived Megumi's soul, Sukuna then says, "Give it up. You can't live a proper life anymore. Just relax and leave it all to me." Then Megumi asks Sukuna why is he being so desperate, and I think this is funny because in Sukuna's last moments he is sounding desperate as the same thing that he said to Gojo. Then Megumi asks, is it because there's only one left? Only one more of your fingers? There's a special way to turn yourself into a cursed object, which means that if Itadori takes no care in tethering you from me here, you'll die. Plus that resonance isn't all good news for you. If these 19 fingers disappear, that lone finger won't have enough to pull your connection to your soul. Even something like you fears death. From the very start, I never intended to live a proper life. Sounds obvious, but there's tons more in people in the world than just me. Just once more, I think I want to try to live for someone else. Megumi and the reader knows that here Sukuna sounds the most desperate because he already ingested 19 fingers and he knows that that one finger isn't enough to retrieve his soul. Then at the end, Megumi says that he'll try to live for someone else once more, just as he intended to live for Sumiki first. But now I think here he means that he wants to live for Yuji. And then JJK, every time we see a black panel with wording, that usually means that a curse is being spoken upon. And the paneling here by Gege I think is so cool, with Sukuna being this black blob of a curse. And then when Megumi finally realizes that his soul is no longer intact with Sukuna and he can fight back, the curse slowly disappears. I don't know if it's just the angle that we're witnessing or is Yuji's domain expansion is just huge for some reason. Because compared to other domain expansions we've seen, they've been relatively small. Especially with Dagon's domain fitting inside of a hallway. The domain shatters and we see Yuji punching Sukuna out of Megumi's soul. We see this amalgamation of a parasite of Sukuna trying to grasp Megumi once more. I think it's funny that Sukuna actually looks like the parasite from the anime Parasite. Just showing like a parasite, Sukuna isn't meant to be in this world and he cannot live without a host. We then get the funniest panel of Sukuna as this blob and Yuji stands directly over him. And Yuji asks, "What's it gonna be, Sukuna?" Sukuna then thinks back to the deal that Yuji tried to make with him inside of his domain. "Release Fushiguro, return to my body once more, and I'll spare your life." Yuji then comes to the realization that Sukuna is him. We're born into this world unconsciously shouldering curses. What sort of monster you turn into is entirely decided by your luck. And I had my gramps. Sukuna was a curse born with a twin, and twins in Jujutsu sorcery is seen as a bad omen. But instead of having his twin to keep him from turning into the monster that he was, he ate his twin. And I feel this is the luck that Yuji was talking about, because unlike Sukuna, he had somebody there for him, which was his grandpa. "Sukuna, let's try it one more time. Living not by cursing someone, but by existing alongside them. Even if no one else will accept you, I will. I will live with you." Then unlike Mahito in this mirror moment of the "I am you" speech from Shibuya, Sukuna doesn't cower and run away with his tail tucked between his legs. He simply says, "Yuji, do not underestimate me. I am a curse." We finally see Uraume versus Hakari after I don't know how many chapters. This is the only part of the chapter that really pissed me off. Oh yes, I understand how many different times can we see a jackpot being hit, Hakari just regenerating his limbs to fight again. But it would be cool to see what kind of abilities Uraume has. We kind of know what she has, but not really to an extent, and I would have liked to see more from her character. I'm not gonna go into their dialogue, but basically Uraume says that it's over. Hakari says, yeah, it's over. Ask her, what will she do now? And then Uraume is like, there's really nothing else for me to do. You guys were just lucky that you guys weren't born 1,000 years ago. Hakari, being someone whose whole gimmick is luck, says, "Wow, that's really the best compliment I could have gotten." Uraume then laughs and then severs her own head. The end. We then see Megumi wake up in his dorm, or I would assume what would be his dorm from Jujutsu High. And we see Yuji and Nobara trying to recreate the same OPP thing that Yuji did when he first returned. Nobara then says, "So guys, you all thought the biggest piece of eye candy in the class was 6 feet under, yet she's still alive and kicking. You're not gonna piss yourself shocked or cry tears of joy?" Yuji said that he cried a bit, and Megumi then says, "I wasn't really surprised or anything since I found out while I was inside Sukuna." Yuji then presents letters from Gojo to Nobara and Megumi. They notice that it's only 2 letters, and Yuji says, "Yeah, I got to talk to him directly." Megumi is then like, "Okay, let's get this over with." And these letters are about Nobara's and Megumi's parents. Nobara's letter being about her mom, saying that this is her location if you ever want to find her. Megumi looks at his note and then begins to laugh, which surprises everyone at the table, and they want to see what the note was. They read the note and then wonder why Fushiguro is laughing, because the note was basically Gojo telling Megumi that he killed his dad, which is what Gojo Sensei said that he would have Shoko do. And these are those notes from Gojo. They then noticed the time and said that we gotta go to where Maki and the others are to help Okotsu. And everyone has this grim look on their face as they're walking towards a dark hallway. With this chapter out the way, there are only 3 chapters left of Jujutsu Kaisen. What does this even mean? What does this mean for Otaku Talks? Do I fall off from here? Nah, I never intended this channel to be solely JJK. It's just as JJK was my biggest manga at the time that I liked, this is what I decided to cover. But for the most part, I'm just going to be doing regular chapter reviews on different series that I like. And as y'all have seen, Kagurabachi is one of them. So with that being said, I would like to end the video here. If you made it this far, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It has been
Taco Talks.